Matsalane Mamabolo, South Africa's most successful soccer writer.
You Pirates fans were looking for Rulani to come. You guys are unrealistic. Rulani Mukwena, Pirates.
3 times winner of Premiership Soccer Writer of the Year. Every day he takes you inside SA Soccer, exclusive to omniaudio.africa. Weekdays, 9:30 a.m.
Break it down. Africa's premier sports destination.
Jakes, it's a Friday. You know it's a Friday because I'm wearing my Bafana Bafana jersey. Looking ahead to Saturday's match, we are playing against Zambia, our last qualifier, our last friendly match before we go to the Africa Cup of Nations. We've spoken about this, the chances of players such as Skeleto Mahalwa and Masindi Nemtajela to impress Coach Hugo Bruce with the opportunity of them making it into the final squad. But we are actually today not necessarily going to talk about Bafana, but what happened last night. If you are an African football fan, you would have watched Nigeria playing against Gabon, qualifying for the final. They're in the playoffs for the World Cup qualifiers. And then I think, big shock, really great match. Last minute goal from the DRC to beat Cameroon. So we've got Nigeria and the DRC to fight it out for not a place at the finals of the World Cup, but to go through to the next and final playoffs against countries from other confederations. And our African football expert, Comrade David Legge, is with me. He will explain that. But I think, Comrade, good morning and welcome to Inside SA Soccer.
Thank you, Project.
Comrade, I mean, the biggest talking point, you and I, when we looked ahead to these matches, we raised a fact that the Nigerians were not happy that Abongile Tom, the South African referee, was going to take charge of their match. Their reasoning was that Sports Minister Gayton McKenzie had, as he always does, put his foot in it by saying he doesn't want Nigeria to qualify. And because of that, the Nigerians then felt, if we are going to have a South African referee, we do not have a chance. And there was an incident that, played exactly into that. The Nigerians complained, and Abongile Tom, a good referee, top class referee, seemed to have been got to somehow. The Nigerians, what's the phrase? Almost like he was afraid to give a decision against them, because I watched that match and I think Gabon were due a penalty that should have been given, but he did not give.
Yeah, Project, isn't it amazing? The man who was going to do Nigeria in actually did exactly the opposite, and I couldn't agree more with you. I've got my views, and here they are. I think Abongile Tom, you chose exactly the right word. They got to him mentally. He took forever to make that decision, and I'm convinced he went over to that touchline monitor, and in the back of his head, subconsciously maybe, he was thinking of some way of not giving a penalty. Now, it's as clear as daylight or nightlight in Morocco with all that rain pouring down, that jersey of the Gabonese player was pulled by the Nigerian. There's no dispute about that. Now, apparently the issue, and I spoke to a referee about this, was did the Gabonese player have an opportunity to get to the ball? And my answer is an emphatic yes. Because to replay, I'm not saying he would have scored, but it seemed to me that he had the chance to head the ball.
To hit the ball.
So Abongile Tom now is there's no disputing it. But apparently, I heard on a rival channel that a referee was saying that if he didn't have an opportunity to get to the ball, then it wasn't a foul. Now, Brad Jakes, maybe I need to go and see my eye specialist, because every time I watch a match in the PSL or in the Premier League, and you pull another player back by tugging at his jersey, It's a free
It's a
kick.
foul.
It's
It is a foul.
I was stunned when I heard this verdict
No.
on the issue.
Now,
Um,
I,
I, Abongile Tom was, I think he was, as you said, it just got to him.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
nobody's
No, he
saying
should
that
have
even
given
if
the pen.
Gabon had the penalty and they scored, that they would have won, because they put up a very brave fight, equalised right at the end of regular time, but in extra time they were overwhelmed. I mean, 4-1,
Yeah,
and
yeah. They
Osimhen,
just,
who scored twice, he could have scored. He could have ended up in the entire match of scoring about 6 goals.
before extra time, I had that one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he
Yeah,
bottled
I
it.
mean, the
That was
first half
strange
alone,
because
Jakes, he had two headers that were just wide, and then there was that issue of a potential handball. That
yeah,
again, Abongile Tom waved away, and then you
yeah,
had that incredible miss in the 12th minute of added time at the end of
at that
regular
time.
time. I know it's all getting
Yeah,
it's confusing. He was 1-on-1 with the Gabonese goalkeeper, and I thought, well, that's it. It's going to be a goal. It's going to be 2-1. But he actually fired well wide. It was unlike Osimhen. But
Osimhen,
I
yeah.
saw some quotes from him later, and it was very interesting. He just said, well, yes, we all make mistakes. We all miss chances. But he said, mentally, I knew that in extra time I was going to strike. And he struck not once, but twice.
Twice,
But
yeah.
I'm sure, can you imagine the Gabonese media today? They will be persecuting Abongile Tom. So the man that Nigeria felt would do them down actually played quite a significant role in their
Significant.
ultimately convincing victory.
Yeah. Now they did well, and I think a lot of us, when that match ended, I waited for the second match, Cameroon and the DRC, and I mean I even saw the Cameroonian commentators, the guys who were hosting in the studio, dancing before the match, saying, "Now we are going to meet Nigeria," but that's not how it turned out.
No, to me, Bajay, a disappointing performance from Cameroon, and I think Mark Brace, the Belgian coach, I think he's either now going to resign or he's going to be fired. He's had a long-running feud, which we've mentioned so many times on your show, with the ball in Cameroon, which is the legendary Samuel Eto'o, somebody who's been very good in the past on the pitch, but maybe not
Yeah.
off the pitch. But it was very close. And remember, Brad Jakes, we said there was only 6 places between the two of them on the world rankings.
Yeah.
Cameroon ranked 54, DR Congo ranked 60. So it was always going to be a close encounter. And Mbeumo, Brian Mbeumo, the Manchester United striker, he had a good chance midway through the second half. He burst through the middle, surprisingly close to the goal, just wide. But then Chancel Mbemba, very good central defender, but who was under a lot of pressure because he was yellow carded early in the first half. He struck from a corner kick in the first minute of added time, and that was it. And but on the basis of what we saw last night, Project, I'm pretty confident. We said Nigeria will win this tournament, and I'm convinced now that they will do so, if only because of Osimhen. I mean, in matches, Nigeria have scored 4 goals in each. They beat Benin 4-0, they beat Gabon 4-1, and 5 of those 8 goals have come from Osimhen. He's on fire at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you see it even at club level, he's just banging them in. Now they are playing each other on Sunday. It's just like it was last night, straight knockout, isn't it?
Correct, Project. Just to make sure our listeners are fully aware of the situation, you've got your normal 90 minutes plus added time. I see in the first half last night of Nigeria and Gabon, there were 6 extra minutes. After the second half, there were 12 extra minutes, which meant a total of 18 minutes. I'm not quite sure where all that time came from, but obviously he knew. Now, if they're level after 90 minutes, it's 30 minutes extra time. And if they're still level, Brad Jakes, it's penalty shootout. So we have to have a decision on Sunday evening. If you're in South Africa, the match kicks off at 9 p.m., 9 o'clock in the evening. If you're in Nigeria, it kicks off at 8 p.m. And if you're in East Africa, it kicks off at 10, and it's going to be a really interesting game. I think the best thing that could happen from a neutral point of view is that DR Congo score first.
Yeah, then we have a match on the
Yeah, I
hands. Yes,
want to see them score the first goal, and then Nigeria have to come out and come at them. Now, what was really interesting, Brad Jakes, in the middle of the night, I decided I wanted to know how many times these two countries had met before in World Cup qualifying matches. In 1962, they've had 16 campaigns. So between them, they've had 28 qualifying campaigns, and yet they have never, ever met before. Yeah, that's a statistic that really rocked me. In fact, I double-checked, and then I treble-checked because I thought, surely somewhere along the line they've met before. So history on Sunday evening in Rabat. And another thing, Brad Jakes, let's hope that rain eases off. Phew, it was torrential.
Oh, yeah, it stays away
particularly
a
for
bit.
the Cameroon-DR Congo match. Yeah.
Just
now, we mentioned Nigeria, 4 goals in their last 2 matches, 4 against Benin, 4 against Gabon. DR Congo, on the other hand, are victim to 8 their last 2 matches. They beat Sudan 1-0 in the last group match. And then, of course, last night they edged Cameroon 1-0. As far as previous qualifications, Nigeria qualified 6 times for the World Cup. DR Congo once, and that was way back in 1974 when the country was known as Zaire.
I remember that.
And unfortunately, when they went to what was then West Germany for the finals, they played then Yugoslavia, and they lost that match 9-0. I'm sure nothing of that sort will happen
this time around. Yeah. Okay. Now that's fascinating. So we'll watch the match on Sunday with keen eyes, and let's see how it goes. As we say, I think another explanation we need to give to our viewers and listeners is the fact that Nigeria winning or DRC winning on Sunday does not say they are going to the finals of the World Cup. There's still that playoff that they have to play with other countries from different confederations.
Just to make it crystal clear for our many listeners, in Africa, it's either Nigeria or DR Congo, straightforward. In Asia, it's UAE, that's the United Arab Emirates, or Iraq. In South America, the deal is done, but it was then that continent. In Oceania, New Caledonia, who must be the underdogs of the 6 teams when they finally emerge, they will represent Oceania, because New Zealand have already qualified directly for the finals. And then at the moment, I stress at the moment because there's still 1 round of qualifying to come, the 2 representatives from Central America and the Caribbean would be Jamaica, the Reggae Boys project, remember them?
Yeah, sure.
And Panama. Those are the 2.
Okay.
And Nigeria are likely to be one of the 2 highest ranked teams, so they will get a bye into a final. So if they beat DR Congo, they're likely to play 1 more match, and they need to win that to qualify to go to Trumpland next June.
Yeah. Okay. Now that's fantastic. So we will wait to see. But as we say, the big match is on Sunday, the final between Nigeria and the DRC, who are meeting for the first time, as you said, in the World Cup qualifiers. Now let's shift our focus from the World Cup qualifiers and just talk about matters on the continent. One of the stories I know is happening is the fact that Kaizer Chiefs are going to be playing Zamalek, and it looks like Zamalek are in some financial trouble.
That's right, Jakes. And an interesting thing, that match, which was originally fixed for the FNB Stadium, or Soccer City as it's popularly known, that match is coming to your home patch. It's going to be played now at the new Peter Makaba Stadium in Polokwane. Yeah,
I'll definitely be there. Yeah,
now, apparently, Dobsonville Stadium, and Chiefs were so excited about the great atmosphere there for the match against Simba from DR Congo. That is not a CAF-approved stadium. So they've decided to go up to Matalani Mamabolo land, so to speak. And the match will not be played on a Sunday as originally planned. It's now going to be played on a Saturday. And as you mentioned, real trouble at Zamalek, and it's all to do with finance. Apparently, there are millions of US in debt, unpaid wages, unpaid transfer installments, and FIFA fines. It can work two ways. That can sort of lift a team even further. It can motivate them, or it could demoralize them, especially if players are not getting their complete salaries. So, interesting situation. And of course, we have two Egyptian opponents for Chiefs coming up. They start their campaign, in fact, away to Al Masry of Egypt. They're then at home to Zamalek, and then they'll have those return matches against the two Egyptian clubs. Masry will come to South Africa, and Chiefs will go to Egypt to face Zamalek. So we'll keep a close eye on that situation at Zamalek.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, what other news do you have for us from the continent?
Yeah, but Jason, in Zimbabwe, and to me, this is astounding. The Zimbabwe FA, they want to increase the size of the Zimbabwean Premier League from 18 clubs, that's two more already than they have in South Africa, to 20. Now, what is behind this? Well, my insider tells me that Dynamos, the great Dynamos, Harare Glamour Boys, they're sort of the Kaiser Chiefs and Orlando Pirates of Zimbabwe football. They're in danger of being relegated. And one way of avoiding this is to increase the size of the league.
So how, for the next season? So what do they do? There will be no relegation this time.
Yeah. I'm just astounded, Rajay. If South Africa's got 16 top-flight clubs, and in my view, about too many, how can Zimbabwe have 20 clubs? So in other words, you play 19 home matches and 19 away. That's 38 league matches. I mean, that's not a football contest. That's an endurance contest.
Yeah, it's the Comrades Marathon. Yeah, look, I mean, it's that there are some powerful clubs that, you know, people believe have to be saved. I wonder, imagine if we had that situation here in South Africa where a Chiefs or a Pirates were in danger of being relegated, and we hear them saying, "Oh, let's increase the league to 18." Yeah, it will talk to exactly that. But yeah, let's see. Do you think it will happen in Zimbabwe?
I think there's a strong possibility, Brad Jakes. I mean, I've traveled a lot with Dynamos around Africa. They're huge. You know, they really are a huge team, but they've fallen on difficult times. At one stage, you know, they were always odds-on favourites to win the league title. They struggled a little bit in the cup competition. So a little bit similar there to the current Mamelodi Sundowns, you know, outstanding in the championship, but, you know, not quite as dominant in the knockout competition. So that's one of our stories, Brad Jakes, from Southern Africa. Another one that's more cheerful is that the city of Windhoek in Namibia, they've signed a deal over the Sam Nujoma Stadium. It's going to cost 13 million Namibian dollars. But the great news is about a year from now, Brad Jakes, we won't have to keep saying the Namibian clubs and the Namibian national team are playing in Botswana or they're playing in South Africa. They will actually be coming home, and it's long overdue.
Yeah.
And this is another success story because Burundi recently, they're home again. So are Burkina Faso, so are Chad. Now, Eswatini is an interesting one. They've been given provisional permission to play their matches at Somhlolo Stadium, which is between Mbambane and Manzini. But apparently there are structural problems with the stadium, and they have to be attended to. But as of now, Eswatini can play their national team matches there, and their clubs can also play there as well. But sadly, still a long list, projects of countries that cannot play at home, including Central African Republic, Djibouti, Guinea, Lesotho, Namibia for the moment, hopefully, Sao Tome, Seychelles, Sierra Leone, Somalia, and of course, very sadly, Sudan, because of the civil war. What they've done now, as we mentioned on your show, is they're now going to, the top clubs, Hilal and Merek, they're now going to play in the Rwandan League this season. Last season, they played in the Mauritanian League.
Okay. Yeah, look, yeah, it's all happening, but I think it's worth celebrating that a few of these countries now finally can play at home, and let's hope the rest of the other countries also get a move on and
Yeah.
fix those stadiums so that, we have
Now
countries
we,
playing at home.
Project, remember we spoke about this red card to the athlete player that they appealed against. It was Gradisar. He's a Slovenian. Well, CAF, to my congratulations. They've said, no way. He was given a red card and he's suspended. And, to
And the
quickly
World
go
Cup
back
stays.
very quickly, Brajay, to the Abongile Tom situation, what we must say is well done to FIFA and CAF because they were under huge pressure to drop
Oh yes, to change him.
Salafri, but did not do so. They stood by him, and I think that was a really good move. Now, we discussed the penalty incident in inverted commas, and look at what happened with VAR. Now, there will be no VAR during the Stadium Cup, and the reason is that some countries and some stadiums simply cannot do VAR. It's quite expensive and quite extensive. You need a lot of cameras. I mean, after all that time last night with the touchline monitor, I think an awful lot of people still feel that it didn't really work, that Gabon were cheated. So fingers crossed that we don't get too many of these sort of incidents in the group stages. Yeah, so there we are.
Okay, so no VAR in the upcoming group stages, but hopefully when
I
they
think
go into the
from
knockout
the
stages, will happen.
quarterfinals on, I think CAF will insist on it. But the other great technology, which of course we see in the Premier League in England, is that goal line technology where the referee on his watch is told if the ball has actually crossed the line, and of course the entire circumference of the ball must have gone over the line.
Yeah.
And I'm sure young Africans would have loved to have had that technology in that
Way
famous
back then when they played
incident
standout.
against Sundowns a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Now look, that's
Did you notice,
fascinating. I think
Project,
when you
the
speak,
DO Congo team, just again reverting quickly, Fiston Mayele, the man who's he's a goal machine. He didn't make the starting lineup. He came on as a substitute.
as a sub.
So that speaks to the
then-
strength of the Congolese squad, that they're able to keep him on the bench, sort of.
On the bench, yeah.
Maybe he's going to aim to outshine Osimhen on Sunday.
against Nigeria. Yeah. Just finally, you speak of goal line technology. The other day, I was speaking to Bob Mapos of Adidas, and they were talking about the ball that will be used at the World Cup, and they were saying the ball will have a chip of sorts for that matter, for the goal line technology. So you could, I don't know how they're going to do it, but technologically, you will be able to tell that ball has crossed the line. So I think those are the advancements that we have in the game. Good a lot of times, but sometimes you see it. I mean, last night when Abongile Tom took as long as he did, it took forever. I was like, we don't need this because it's taking away from the game, the excitement. We stop. But yeah, that's how it is. We live in technological times. So, but comrade, thank you so much. We will talk to you on Monday after we have seen who between Nigeria and the DRC qualify. And there's quite a few international friendlies being played this weekend. Bafana for one, out in Gabon against Zambia. Both have qualified for the AFCON, and they are just doing their final touch-ups for the tournament that will be starting just close to Christmas later on next month.
Yeah, and by Jake, an interesting statistic. I love my statistics, as you know, about the AFCON. 109,000 tickets have been sold to people from France, not from Africa, from France, for the AFCON in Morocco. You see, Morocco is very good in the sense, very accessible to people from Europe, and that's virtually 110,000 tickets from people who are based in France. Also, a lot of interest from Belgium, from Netherlands, from what they call the United Kingdom. We would call that, I think, Britain. Even from Canada, Brad Jake, 3,800 applications for tickets. So this bodes very well for the tournament itself, because the huge test Morocco, as it is always for host nations, is can they draw crowds to the matches that do not involve Morocco?
Yeah, but it looks like they would. And I mean, you speak of so many being from France. I bet you a lot of those are people with African origins who, there's quite a lot of people from West
Yeah,
Africa,
yeah,
from
you
North
hit the
Africa
nail
who are
there
based
very
in.
firmly on
Yeah.
the head, bro, Jake.
Okay. Comrade, thank you so much. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you in the upcoming week.
Thank you, bro, Jake.
Yeah. That's the show for today, folks. As we said, Nigeria through to the final, the DRC through to the final. This is the playoffs for sports at the World Cup. And as we explained, the victory on Sunday does not mean you're going to the World Cup. There's still another playoffs to come in March next year. So let's see how it goes. And yeah, Bafana are playing out in the PE. Let's Kabeja. Let's go cheer them on. Let's have them win their last match before they go to the Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. And that's the show from me, Bra Jakes, Inside SA Soccer here on Omni Audio Africa.